Welcome to another Modern Mind Ancient Book, where we are going back to move forward, finding a love for the law, the prophets, and the writings. If you'd like to reach out to us, please feel free. Modern Mind Ancient Book at gmail.com. We would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, comment, share, help us reach more people. We'd really appreciate that. We'd be very grateful, and we pray many blessings on you for helping us. My name's Roger. I'll be your host. Today we have with us Pete. Pete, welcome.
Shalom. Good evening.
Shalom. And we also have Nick. How you doing today, Nick?
It's like deja vu all over again. And no one will understand why that's funny.
Yeah.
So we are currently in the New Testament, or the New Covenant. We're going through the books in chronological order.
Right.
We're not doing what most people would expect. We are currently on the 5th book of the Bible, and that is not Acts.
Right.
We have done James, Galatians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, and today we're going to talk about 1st Corinthians. So we're doing it this way because this is the way that the letters were actually distributed.
Right.
So it's quite interesting when you go through it this way, and I think it helps the modern mind to see it in a chronological way, because it shows us not only that these are real people, but that they existed in a real space, and they had a process and a system, and they were building churches.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, they've already been to Galatia.
Right.
They've already been to Thessalonica.
Right.
They've already been to Corinth, and now they're writing from Ephesus to Corinth, right? They were in Corinth for about 18 months, and they're in Ephesus for 3 years, but they were rushed out of Thessalonica, because persecution. They're going to kill them.
But they were having some success, which is why it was offensive.
Right.
It was scary.
And the church blew up.
Right.
It's not like they did anything to them.
Right.
The church was growing and blowing up.
Yeah.
So the title 1 Corinthians designates the numerical order. So it is the first letter to the Corinthians. Unlike some of the older books that we've looked at, where there was, say, 1st and 2nd Judges.
Right, but it was separated for logistical reasons.
Yeah, just the size of the scroll. Right. Same story front to back. It's not really separated. In this case, this is a separate letter sent to the Corinthian church. Yep. This is 1 Corinthians. But it's really not 1 Corinthians, because
there's the missing one.
Yes.
There's the missing one.
Dun, dun, dun.
There's the letter that started it all.
Yeah. So
this is the response to something.
That's right. So the church in Corinth sent a letter by way of Timothy to Paul, and Paul is sending a letter back addressing their concerns. So whether or not we're missing information, we don't know. But it's pretty safe to assume not really.
Yeah, we're not missing as much as we could be, because he's answering questions.
He's answering back to their concerns, right? And it has a lot to do with how the church is progressing and what kind of influences are involved in the church. Right. So, obviously Paul is the author. It's a letter written from him to Corinth from Ephesus. It's kind of cool to consider, and we won't spend a whole bunch of time on it, but how these churches were kind of being touched and worked through. So, Paul founded Corinth as an apostle.
Right.
During his 3-year ministry in Ephesus, he was, communicating back between the Thessalonians and Corinth, back and forth. Titus was sent, right? So Titus was going back and forth. That letter came back to Paul. Actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't Timothy, it was Titus who brought the letter back. Then he answered, and that's how 1 Corinthians was written. So Chloe wrote to Paul saying, "Hey, there's some factions that are growing here. Right. We don't know why we shouldn't be
some trouble going on here."
Yeah. And so Timothy was sent to Corinth from Macedonia, from Thessalonica, based on there being problems. So Timothy comes to say, whoa, what's going on, right? Yeah. Which is cool, because the churches actually had a support network. I mean, this isn't long after Jesus passed away.
Right, but they're already developing this interconnectedness. And
Yeah, very intelligent and capable people.
Right.
I mean, good administrators. So, the recipients of this book would have been proselytes, so Gentile people who converted to the way, converted to Judaism, but now they follow the Jesus version of Judaism. And in 1 Corinthians, you actually start seeing more pagan worshipers starting to convert. So the majority of the people up until this point in, let's say, Galatia and Thessalonica and even in Corinth had been proselytes and Jewish people, right? But now we're starting to attract people who know not much about Judaism, right? People who are just idolaters in general, right? They were just Gentile idolaters. And, it's a good thing, but it causes a lot of tension.
yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
It's completely antithetical situation. They're coming at it.
Yeah, nothing in common.
Nothing in common, right?
Yeah, very little in common, except for Jesus and the Spirit, right? So for me, when I'm trying to learn these things, when I'm trying to download it and understand it, what I'm doing is I'm going, okay, God did a thing in real space in Corinth, a Roman city, in Greece, where heavy, long traditions, right, that everybody knows with their own deity, which we're going to go into in a minute.
Yeah.
That's central to this city. But then God's doing this thing, and not only did Peter understand that Gentiles would come in, but now we're seeing not just proselytes. We're seeing pagan people start to come in. Because, see, the person that Peter went to visit, the Roman centurion, he was a proselyte. And he was generous to the temple. And Peter was going there, and he should have been willing to go there, but even then there's Jewish people were separate from Gentile people. It's just it's a thing, right? But now God is saying, no, it's even more inclusive than you imagine, right? So God is saying it's even more inclusive than you imagine.
Right.
Now we're taking people who they've never learned about this.
Right.
And so, I mean, I smile, and then I think of how challenging that must have been for these apostles and administrators, how they're they're going through this system of creating a church, but now there's these people that really don't share anything in common with you anymore.
That's what we're saying. It's coming from a completely different perspective. It's like, man, we don't have the commonality even to begin with. It's worth it, right?
Yeah.
This is exciting. This is good. They saw that. Like you said, Peter knew that something else was coming, but it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Dealing with these people that there's no basis for connection other than the news that they accept.
Right.
And that's enough. Still hard.
Yeah. So, and Corinth was no ordinary city. At one point, it was sacked by Rome in 146 BC, and then in 46, Julius Caesar rebuilt it. So, this is Caesar's progeny, right? The people that are here are Roman mostly. And, I mean, there's a strong tradition in this city, and overcoming that and being welcomed within it is miraculous all on its own. So it was a difficult city, but it was a great place to be because commerce, right? Paul, they're wise. They know how to get the message out. Mm-hmm. So it had two different streams of commerce. It was located at the head of the Corinthian Isthmus, which gave it control over the only route for merchandise between the peninsula and the mainland Greece. Right. All the merchandise that came into Greece came in right here.
Right.
And because of its proximity, the Corinthians to the Saronic Gulf, it largely commanded the trade between Asia and Italy. So Rome and Asia. I mean, it's a huge middle section here, where the gospel can go all the way to Rome and all the way to Asia. Yeah. I mean, how were they just great tacticians? I mean, how do you think through this, right? I mean, Or was God just doing this? Was he directing every step?
Both. God can work through wisdom, and we can, if we were looking at this as we are and saying, well, that makes perfect sense. What better place to spread it all the way to Rome, all the way to Asia? He could have easily spoken that into their thoughts too.
Right.
And said, hey guys, isn't this kind of an obvious spot for you? And they go, oh yeah, you're right, God. Well, let's do that.
And now listen, this I think is brilliant too. Corinth was wealthy.
Oh yeah.
So
they had that fine Corinthian leather.
That's right.
Yeah.
So how do you attract people? Well, you give them the sexy thing, right? These people accepting this message was essentially making it mainstream, right? Just hugely tactician. I mean, this is A+ planning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, Corinth, great place to be. Very good ideas, wonderful opportunity to spread it all over the world, and we've seen them doing this. They took it to Galatia, which gets it north, right? Again, another place, the mountains and everything around there, the belief systems, all of that is centered in that area in Galatia. Galatia was a big deal. Then you come down to a port city, get kicked out.
Right.
Then you go to the next port city that is actually the center of everything.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's what I mean. Did God do it? And that's what I'm saying, because you can really see this intention here.
Right.
You know?
At the very least, you think he's probably dialing it in a little bit. You know?
Yeah, because he said, you're not staying at Thessalonica. Right. Great place to be, but it's not Corinth. You're going to Corinth.
Yep.
I got the church in Thessalonica.
Still did well.
That's fine.
It's time for you to move on. The
persecution will cause them to grow, but I need you to get to the bridge between Asia and Rome.
Right.
I mean, it's when you think of these things and you put them together, it blows your mind how quickly this message dispersed.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But if you planned it with hindsight, you would do it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
All right.
Now, the inhabitants.
Corinth was also a very safe city.
Well, yeah, because it was.
There's nobody was going to invade it.
No, and Rome had firm control of this area. This is actually Roman control.
Yeah.
It's right on the main thoroughway.
Yeah.
They're using the technology that Rome put in place to get the message out and about. I mean,
you travel the road safely because of the Romans.
Because of the Romans, and that was new technology for the time. Nobody had roads like this, not until this time. Rome really did an amazing thing. Their organization and their ability to rule was really dependent on this amazing road, which still, by the way, exists. It's better than our roads.
Right. Which is endlessly frustrating for me, but we won't get into that.
Yeah.
The Roman colonists whom Julius Caesar had planted in Corinth formed the basis for the Roman minority who dominated this governance, right? They were the governing. As a colony, the city was Roman. Varied nationalities, however, mingled in Corinth. There were native Greeks, and they, had left their own mark on the city. There were money-making opportunities, which brought a bunch of Jewish people in, because commerce is something that Jewish people do very well.
Right.
Israel is in the middle also of Asia and everywhere else. Right. So this is something that Jewish people have been doing for a very, very long period of time. It's part of their culture. It's part of their history to move products from here to there, right? And be the middleman and act that way through and bargain and everything. Like, Jewish people see Jewish people as really good at business and they're like money hungry or whatever, but it's just a part of the tradition. It's because they're in the middle of the world. They have a legacy of being good at business because that's where they were situated all that time.
It's just like anything else. Whatever the culture prioritizes, the people tend to become good at.
That's right. Yeah. And so this very large city offered opportunities to gain great wealth, but there's also extreme poverty. So at the time of Paul's visit, the city and its population was somewhere between 600,000 and 700,000 people. 2/3 were slaves. That's a lot of slaves. Yeah. And but that goes to show you what Jesus really did in the world.
Right. But that's what kept the economy running at that time was slaves.
Yeah, cheap labor.
Yeah,
right?
cheap labor.
But it's also it's not only cheap labor. It's the legacy of Rome to conquer, subdue, and take slaves, right? And so, people there's a. I see these arguments all the time, and it just breaks my heart that God gets caught up in being a slave trader or whatever. Because in the beginning, God created man and woman, not to rule over one another, but to rule the earth, to subdue it, and be fruitful and multiply.
Right.
It was never his intention for there to be slaves, but in the world there were slaves. And God is kind, he's gracious, and he teaches us. But he has to let us be where we are. Because nobody who really changes because you put a knife to their throat.
Right.
They change because over time they become convinced that something is better. And we had to come back to the better way. And so when Jesus came, he did conquer Rome.
Right.
And he conquered slavery.
Right.
With Rome.
Right.
Slavery in the New Testament is something where you're supposed to treat your slaves as equal. Rome did not do that.
Right.
That already was changing the ethos and the pathos, and the people around were following suit. It was changing things. These places, while being prosperous, were also incredibly evil.
Right.
But Jesus didn't want that, and neither did the followers of the way. And so it changed, but it just took the time that it took.
Oh, yeah.
But remember, God's character is he created them male and female, not to rule over one another. So, unlike Athens, Corinth never became famous for philosophies. It had arts and pottery and all that stuff shipped all over the Mediterranean world. It became famous for brass, capitals, and pillars. And it's still known all around the world. The Corinthian architecture, and you see it, we see it. I work in the construction industry. We sell these same pillars. Mm-hmm. They're structural pillars that look just like it. People love it even today. That came from Corinth. So that's, they adorned their city. It was a beautiful place. It had beautiful temples, and everything was very embellished. It was a very white marble pillar type city. On the other hand, it was a wicked city. Because as the term went, the Corinthians meant to engage in prostitution and drinking. The immorality of Corinth was part and parcel with worship of the goddess Aphrodite.
Right.
Which was a goddess of love. So the old city of Corinth, situated on the topmost peak of the Acrocorinthus, was a magnificent temple to the goddess with 1,000 female hierodule, consecrated prostitutes, for free use by visitors of the temple. Wow.
Yeah. That's mind-blowing.
That's why God didn't let them stay in Thessalonica. The church at Corinth, you can find it. It's related in Acts. It was founded by Paul on a second missionary journey after a not too successful visit to Athens.
Right.
He made his home with 2 exiled Jews from Rome, Aquila and Priscilla, and began his work in the synagogue, always to the Jews first. Right. After a short time, owing to the opposition of Jewish people, he turned to the Gentiles, making use of the house of Titus. Justus, that is a Roman name.
Yes.
Yeah. So, God, again, working in this place, man, just working things out. These were therefore both Jew and Gentiles in the church. Paul appeared to have worked there for about a year and a half, approximately 18 months, and during this period was brought before the proconsul Gallio, who refused to take action against him. Wow.
That's in favor.
Yeah. But yet he's preaching against that temple.
Right.
He's preaching against those actions.
Right.
Instead, he found favor. again, the hand of...
It's got to be.
Yeah, the hand of God. It's just all this stuff is happening. So this virtually secured him from further attack. So the Jewish people, they couldn't come after him anymore.
Right.
He could stay now in the province and teach. Right. Now, the argument is, Pete,
Paul argues that the cardinal and sectarian church at Corinth had misunderstood and disregarded their sound doctrine and must obey his apostolic instructions with wisdom and love. Mate, those are real important there. Wisdom and love.
Yeah, these people were going wild for the gospel. And then rabbinic Judaizers came in and they're like, yeah, well, you can do more. And Paul's like, whoa, guys, don't break up. Yeah. We don't need to break up. So the purpose, Nick?
First, to rebuke the party spirit and give a true conception of the relation between the Christian and the worker and his work. Secondly, to enjoin the disciplining of the person guilty of incest. Yeah, that's a rough one, huh?
Yeah.
But not out of the ordinary for that city.
No, that's what I was going to say. That's, I mean, you know.
Even that time frame, if we...
Right. Well, for a lot of places, right? Third, to answer the questions referencing the missing letter.
Original letter.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, the plans for the future.
Well, and that's where we get into was it their wisdom or was it God?
Great book. Read it from front to back. We hope this overview has been good. A really great book. I want to keep teaching, but we got to go because the podcast is over. So, thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you've enjoyed it. We love all of the books of the Bible, and they're all deeply meaningful. Please read them, and then get ready for the deeper stuff eventually. We're going to get through these readings, and we're going to start talking about content, and I am also very excited about that. Nick and Pete, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Smash that like button, share us, talk to your friends about us, please. Let's get people involved in this journey. We're going back to move forward. We are finding a love for God's Word, and we're inviting you with us. Please invite your friends and family to come with you. If you'd like to reach out to us, modernmindancientbook@gmail.com. Thank you.